Hey y'all, welcome back to another video. So today I'm going to be showing you one of my favorite meals that I make for my family, and we absolutely love it by my family, me and my husband. So this recipe is completely mine. I did have a dish that inspired me to make it, but I don't know what the recipe was, so we're just gonna kind of roll through it. So today I'm gonna be making a vegan chickpea stew. It's got a lot of bold flavor in it, so if you're scared of spices, maybe this is a good time for you to incorporate them into your cooking. And yeah, this is also 0 points on Weight Watchers, including the greens that I'm going to be showing you guys with it. So first thing, let's go over the ingredient list for this video. So for this video, we are going to be needing the juice of 2 lemons, and you can choose if you do 1 or 2, but I like to do 2 because I like mine really lemony. 2 cans of chickpeas, also known as garbanzo beans, rinsed and drained. I have 2 large carrots that I've just sliced into little circles. I have a full onion that I've sliced into little bitty thin strips, and I'll show you guys more. 3 cups of cabbage, 4 cups of water, some vegetable broth or vegetable bouillon. For seasonings, we're going to be using garlic, curry powder, turmeric, and bay leaves. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is I'm actually going to turn on my gas on my stove to about medium-high heat. And then what we're going to do is we're going to put our spice mixture into there and saute it. Now you can use oil to saute this if you want to, but that doesn't make it fat-free. It doesn't make it Weight Watchers 0 points. So I'm just gonna use some water to saute. What? Yes. And I'm gonna do 2 cloves of garlic. I have 1 tablespoon of turmeric and 1 tablespoon of curry powder in here, as well as like 2 kind of small dry bay leaves. So I'm literally just gonna put all of that in there together. And you're like, why do you put spices in there with the garlic? You want the spices to bloom. So basically that's the goal, is just to get a lot of flavor into the spices to start with. So what you're gonna do is saute these, and it's gonna make a little bit of a paste. And you're gonna be like, well, that's weird. Kind of, but trust me, it's delicious. The bay leaves are gonna come out at the end. Okay, so as we're making it, this is what you're gonna start to see at first. So we're just cooking out the rawness of the garlic. Now, most people will be like, you should saute your onions to get the raw flavor of the onions out as well. But that's actually not necessary in this, because the way that we're gonna cook this and how long, it's gonna be really delicious. So I just got my heat on medium-high. And once you can start to smell the garlic hiding in those spices, that's when we're ready to add our other ingredients. Okay, perfect. So it's been about 1 minute. So I'm gonna show you now what I'm gonna do for this. So once those spices have bloomed, it's nice and fragrant, and you'll also have a little bit of flavor developing on the bottom. We're gonna add in 2 finely sliced carrots. You can use a mandolin if you'd like to, not necessary. I'm using 1 small whole onion. You can choose whether or not you wanna use a whole or half, but I actually like using a whole. And I've got them sliced into little bitty thin slivers like that. You're just gonna pour all of those in. Then I have 3 cups of cabbage. Now the cabbage will cook down and have a very mild flavor at the end of this. It adds lots of good fiber and nutrients to it. If you hate cabbage, you could leave it out. I've made it without it. But to me, if I don't have it, I miss it. So I'm gonna pour this in as well. And those are just diced up. And then the star of the show, which is 2 cans of drained cooked chickpeas, and rinse as well. And you can of course make your own chickpeas in the crock pot or on the stove, but it's a lot of work. And then we're gonna add our water. So I'm gonna start adding some water. And what you're gonna do now is you're gonna wanna really give it a stir, especially on the bottom, and make sure that you're picking up all of that flavor from the spices. Then what we're gonna do is take your favorite either veggie broth or bouillon. I'm using this Better Than Bouillon veggie in this case. And you're gonna use about a teaspoon at the maximum. And you're just gonna put it in and kind of stir it around, and it just dissolves right into the liquid. Okay. So that's that. I'm gonna show you guys what it looks like. So here's what it looks like when we have everything but pretty much the lemon juice put into it. I'm just gonna put a lid on it, bring it up to boil, and we're gonna let this sit for 30 minutes. Okay, so we are almost done with this stew. I have 2 lemons fully juiced in here. It's actually a lot of lemon juice. It's 1/3 of a cup of juice. Now, if you don't like your stuff super tangy or that lemony, feel free to do 1 lemon. We're gonna do 2 in this house. So let me show you guys how this all comes together. Oh, yeah. So I'm gonna pour in the lemon juice. I fished out the bay leaf as well. Bay leaves. So you just fish those bad boys out. And I'm gonna show you guys how we serve it. Okay guys, so we are done with the stew recipe. Look at that steam. I'm gonna show you guys how I plate this. So it looks delicious. So I'm going to be using some quinoa as my base today. Now, I cooked this earlier. Quinoa is 0 points on Weight Watchers. Nick, you are moving a lot.
I'm trying to get still, sorry.
Okay, quinoa is a lot of points, Jesus. It's 0 points on Weight Watchers. I'll give you a little close up here. Look at how fluffy. Oh, so good. So all you do to cook quinoa is pretty much the same thing as rice. Bring 2 times the amount of liquid to your quinoa to a boil. And I added some veggie broth in it just to give it some flavor. And then you stir in your quinoa once it's boiled, reduce it down, cover it, and let her sit. Don't mess with it. Don't mess with it. And then fluff it with a fork when you're done. So I'm gonna show you guys how I make a mess on my counter. Step 1 is you throw your quinoa everywhere. But I'm gonna start with a base of quinoa. And you can use rice, you can use brown rice. White rice is not 0 points on Weight Watchers, so I tend to use it less often. And I'm pretty generous with the quinoa because that's really gonna be the part that fills you up. And then I'm gonna ladle in plenty of this. Now, the only thing I'll say about something like this is turmeric and curry powder. If you get them on your counter, wipe it up immediately because they will stain. Look at that. So the onions become very translucent. It's super bright. Now, as far as salt, you're gonna be like, you didn't add any salt. Well, first of all, veggie broth is very salty. And second of all, if you need some salt, you can feel free to add it. I don't tend to use a lot of salt. And there we go. Now, some people would love probably to top this with some cilantro, would be delicious, but I'm just gonna serve it as is. So I cannot speak. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you in my next one. Bye.